It's Uncle Paul! It is Saturday morning, and I am taking my first exercise walk of the week. It's been a little bit of a rough week. My knees had been bothering me since I've been home, and I thought that it felt like my left knee in particular was getting better, but over the last weekend and first few days of this week, my whole leg was just aching, my left leg more and more, and was getting worse. I couldn't sleep well at night, and so I was trying to stay off of it, wasn't doing any extra walking, and I finally realized that sitting in my recliner in my room, which I was working on sermons and Bible classes and just trying to stay off of it as much as I could, I realized that that recliner, it's pretty old, the cushioning has been packed down. I could feel the wood in that seat that makes up the seat under my knee, under my leg, right there at my knee. And I'm like, this is causing me the pain. So I put a bed pillow under that leg when I sat down. And after a couple days, that achiness, that pain went away. So I'm very relieved and happy about that, because I was beginning to wonder what was wrong. So now, after a couple days of it getting better, I finally feel confident enough to get out here and do some walking for exercise. Well, there are a couple of different areas that I want to talk about and critique a little bit. The first one has to do with my hiking that I did in New Jersey. First, some good things. I had no problems with my knees. I had no issue at all with my back, which was a great surprise. I'm very thankful for that. When Joe came and picked me up the first time off the trail, I'd been out there long enough and had done some tough hiking, and I said, man, my knees are doing great. He went, shh, don't jinx yourself. So but now I can talk about it. During the hike, and really in 2017 and 2018, during the hikes, I had no knee problems at all, and it was just really great. So I'm thankful for that. Now that it's all over with, when I got home, started suffering a little bit. By the way, on my left knee, after I got off the trail and I was kind of headed home, stopped at Craig, spent a couple days with Craig and Jody. Craig and I went around sightseeing and stuff. And I got out of his truck one time, and I did something wrong with my knee when I got out. Twisted it or something. And I was pretty much limping the rest of the time that I was there. So that's kind of how that started. It wasn't on the trail, it was getting out of the truck. So anyway, in my back, in 2017, that's why I got off the trail mainly, because the exertion on my back, the stress, it was building up. And I've talked about my back in the past, so I'm not going to go into detail, but with overuse, and when my back does go out, it's not just like I can lay around for 2 or 3 days and it gets better and I can go about my business. I can't hardly walk. I have to have a walker. And then it's like at least a 6-week process of me weaning off a walker onto a cane and then without the cane. So you know, it's pretty miserable. It takes a long time, and I can see when it's coming. It was coming in 2017, so I got off, thankfully, thanks to Gucci Girl and Grumpy. Last year, you know, I'd had that calf injury a week and a half before I hit the trail last year, and actually I lasted longer. I thought that first day up the mountain south of Duncannon, headed south, I thought it would blow up. I thought it would tear. It didn't, and but it was extremely irritated the next couple days, and I got off because of that mainly. But the next morning in the hotel room, my back was shot. I was still grabbing onto stuff in the hotel room as I tried to get to the bathroom, and I recovered from that pretty quickly. So, but it was going out. It would have. This time, however, you know, my back went out January, but after that, I started doing regular stretches and exercises specifically for my lower back. Was very religious about that, very consistent about that. And so I did it all the way up until I went out on the trail, and I did it while I was on the trail, continued to do it to this day. Did not have a problem once with the back. No feeling of pain, no feeling of stress. Not only do I attribute that to primarily being consistent with doing those back exercises and stretches all the time, but I really concentrated on how I used my back when I was hiking, when I put up my tent, when I got my water. You know, I made sure that I bent my legs, if at all possible, you know, to do everything. And when I got water, that's one of the things that stresses out my back most. I would sit on, I'd find a place where I could sit down. If I had to get muddy, if I had to get my feet and legs wet in the stream, that's just what I had to do. It was worth it to be able to relieve my back and not stress my back getting water. You know, it was definitely worth getting wet and muddy if I had to. So when I came off the trail, not a back problem at all, still not even today. So that went real well. A lot of progress on my back. So I've got that figured out. Of course, the best thing for it, as we all know, is to lose weight. Another critique of my hike, and this one is kind of a negative aspect of it, is you know, I got off obviously earlier than what I had hoped, but I do, to this day, I still believe that it was, I wouldn't have made it the next, you know, that mountain, the next mountain that I was going to have to be climbing. I don't think I could have made it because I was dehydrated and I was just wore out, and I could not envision my big old body making it up that. So I chose to get off. Now, what bothered, even though I think that was the right decision as far as, you know, that I wouldn't have made it knowing my body, but I'm still a little disappointed in myself for not trying. I mean, I was concerned because of the water situation. You know, there's a big gap there. You had to carry more water and all of that. So the water sources weren't quite as numerous in that section. But, you know, in 2017, I got off because of my back. I knew I was going to have an issue with it. Last year was my calf. This time, I didn't have an injury that got me off the trail. It was just that I thought I couldn't make it. I couldn't do it. And I didn't even try. That bothers me a little bit. I wish that I would have just tried it, you know, at least gone a couple more days, but to get to that point right before I had to face it, then make the decision. So for me, that was It was a lesson learned, I think. I experienced that now and have had time to think about it. I've heard other people say don't give up on a bad day, and to me that sounded very logical. And so, in essence, that's what I did. And so now that I've been there and experienced that, next time, that's going to be in my mind is remember how you felt once you got home. That was something you struggled with just a little bit. So I learn something every time, something new every single time that I go on a hike. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is my weight. Several months ago, quite a few months ago, I started back on weighing on my old doctor scale. And it only goes up to 350 pounds. So y'all didn't know exactly how much I weighed, just whether I was losing or not. But when I was on the trail, I revealed my weight on the digital scale. The day before I set out on my hike, I weighed 402 pounds. And so that means if you go back and look at those other videos and add up the weight that I lost, since last year's hike, I'd gone up and down, but I eventually weighed 465, approximately 465. So I gained it back pretty fast. And that means I've lost a good bit though since then, and I'm happy about that. But one of the issues that I've had in losing weight is almost from the beginning of my channel, is I would have a cheat meal. I started off having a cheat meal. I would wait Sunday morning, have a cheat meal for lunch after worship on Sunday, and I would always make some chili, and it would be a good low carb chili. But I would have like 2 big old bowls of it. Didn't really ever hurt me weight-wise. Well, over time, I started adding a bunch of onions and beans. I would start having maybe a bagel or some flour tortillas with it. It would turn into 2 meals. I would eventually sometimes eat breakfast. It turned into a full cheat day. Not every time, but often enough that I was sabotaging myself, because I would gain back a lot of the weight that I had lost during the week before, and then I would have to lose a little bit more to have a net weight loss on the week. And I mean that works, but I mean it makes it extremely difficult. So one of the changes that I'm making is, because I still do a cheat meal to this day, and so every now and then, and this past Sunday I had more of a cheat day. And without having exercised really the last 2 weeks, that doesn't work. That didn't work for me. So I've gained just a little bit back this week, and I know that. But I am no longer going to have a regular cheat meal at all, and not any day of the week. And so that's a major step for me, because I've done that real consistently for a long time. But to kick it off, to get myself in the right mindset, tomorrow, Sunday, I am having a fast day. I'm not going to eat anything at all. And that's I've done fast days before. I do intermittent fasting all the time now. But I haven't done a fast day in a while, and it's going to be tomorrow. So to get it in my mindset that no longer am I going to have a regular cheat meal, definitely no cheat days. So that's my new commitment. Good Sunday morning. Whew. Well, let me fill you in real quick on the nephews. Ethan, the baby of the family, he had his 19th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Ethan. Then Matt, the one that just graduated from college, he made the decision this week he's going to do some additional schooling, and I'll fill you in on that at another time. And then Reagan and his buddies managed to sink one of his friend's boats out in the middle of the lake. Everybody's fine, so that's kind of their story this week. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and Lord willing, I'll see you next week.